All right, what is going on, guys? Top Genji here, back for round two of Monday Modern, doing some Bant to Landfall or Naduless Nadu, as most know. Yeah, the deck's been really good. I think I really like the Bant version. I think it's a good version of the list, mainly just because of the fact that like Norn is really good in the meta against a bunch of stuff, and the fact that she doubles your trigger. So normally you need like two Risen Reefs, and then like having two Landfall mana generation creatures is really good. So like adding the doubling the effect of that, so where one land now triggers, it twice, like Nissa the Resurgent Animist. You get the double trigger, so one land can go make you mana, and then it gets kind of crazy, especially if you have a fetch land. It makes 4 mana plus the land, so it's 5 mana alone. So pretty wild. I'm really liking it. It feels pretty good. It stops, like I said, I think I said in round one, stops a lot of the meta. I do want to say right off the bat here, I did notice that the video size is a little bit small, so I'm not seeing as much of the field. I think it's because I didn't do the wide lens for when I was recording, which was my mistake. So sorry about that. So I was looking at this hand. It didn't seem bad just because the fact that I had the Risen Reef. The hand was a little slow, but it was like I think the best thing that I had to do depending on um like I knew that my opponent was playing blue red prowess. So and they play delirium, play with their graveyard a little bit, and they kind of like try to slow them down, plus they play with flyers that I can block. So seemed like the possible best solution that I could do. Hoping they didn't have a extremely fast start, but this guy's got a lot of practice with this deck and is pretty good with it. So the only thing I don't like is he plays very fast, so it's like calm down, like give me an opportunity to do things and stuff. So, but overall, like we talked about it, like I have interactions and stuff, so got to give me the opportunity to like make sure on how the interaction, what I want to do and how I want it to go. So I missed that. So he has a fetch shock, blah 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 blah, and then I have a fetch here. I don't think I'm going to get a shock land, especially since I'm playing against Prowess. So I just go get my basics, so I lose another point here. I'm at 18. This is a really tough matchup. So this is why I needed to update the list. So the current Moxfield list, when you look at the link, is going to show that I have March of the Otherworldly Lights, which I think is correct. I think it's the correct card just because it still hits Urza Saga for 1 mana, and it still hits everything else. You still have Force of Vigor and Beseiju in the deck, so if you think there's anything else, I mean, any other white cards that might be good, let me know. But I think March is really good just because the deck creates a lot of mana really fast, and so it's really not hard to cast that card for a lot of mana, and it hits everything you want. Like it hits creatures, it hits Titan pieces, and everything to slow them down. So not a big deal. So so yeah, landing the creature here, landing a slick shot. He's got Delirium, Enchantment Artifact, land, instant. He's pumped, so got the 5/5. Um, I feel like I noticed there was a couple of plays that weren't maximum. I mean, I don't remember. Did he play Slick Shot before he cast? Not 100%. So, but so I take. Yeah, I go to 8 here. So yeah, I took 10. So he did cast 2 spells. So it did count. So yeah, I mean, it's just like really fast. So for me, I really needed a fetch land here. So it would have probably maximized my plays by a lot because I could have played Nissa, fetched, and played what's his face endurance, um, which I don't really get the opportunity to do. So it's crazy. I don't even think I can play a bounce. I can't play my bounce land here either, just because I want to be able to cast endurance. So yeah, now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking this is the wrong play. I think I was hoping to maybe draw a fetch land here. So I think I'm supposed to put this into play. I don't know if I do. Pretty sure I'm supposed to put this into play, and then I play the bounce a land. Like that's what's supposed to happen here. And it's literally one bounce land, one Simic Growth Chamber, just to make sure I have my blue. But it's also good to hit off like Risen Reef in the later games to be able to bounce my Besagis and Artawars back to my hand. So just one. I don't really know how I feel. Feels a little messed up. So this is the part where he was like playing really fast. He was just like I have lethal, and this is my attack. So um, like we have interactions here, so you need to resolve everything. So keeps the card on top. I'm at 5, so currently he's hitting me for. That's why I'm kind of explaining. Like I'm like I understand you have lethal, right? I have an interaction. I just need to see. So this is like happening before blocks. I'm gonna cast endurance. I have triggers. I'm gonna target him, making him shuffle, and then I have a trigger here. So and then um, so I activate this. So this seemed like a really good play, but he just happened to have another bolt, which um, I still think if he just bolted me, no, if he just bolted me, it didn't work. So just by bolting the creature, but having like another lightning bolt is just rough. So, but I feel like this is the best play because I get to block Grazer. I only take one, um, and hoping that I'd get the combo next turn. I get to put a land into play, and then endurance gets sacked. And then he has the bolt. So I was like, yep. And I'm like, yeah, okay, he's got enough because that's only a 1/1, but that's 1, 2, 3, and then plus the other spell, so it's 5 for sure. So I'm donezo. This unfortunately is not a great matchup at all for me. It was pretty rough in general, so I don't really know what else I could do, but we're gonna speed us up here a little bit. He already kind of plays fast, so I think I don't know what I could bring in against him. As I was looking, I think 6 is what I brought in, just because of the fact that, and I brought in the Keen-Eyed Curator and a Besaju, just to have another Besaju to hit the Underworld Breach, just to, in case he has like an Underworld Breach turn where he tries to go off, I can blow it up. So, um, and the Keen-Eyed is just to hit his graveyard, and it's also a way to try to like kill him on the back end of it. So maybe this is like the argument where Spike was talking about, like the slowness. Like, I don't know if it increases the speed. So if I had a flare there instead of a wall of roots, I didn't have a grazer. Maybe plan in to go and sack it on turn 2. Go get land I can play it. I mean, I still was pretty close to being dead. I think that was like turn 3 or 4. Um, so yeah, I'm not 100% on if Flare was any faster. I think I just need some sideboard. I think that's why I have the March of Otherworldly Lights now, because it's just a universal hit. Only thing I can't hit is a Planeswalker, but I don't know why my mic does that. I randomly, I don't think it realizes that I'm talking or doing anything, and then it like wants to cut out. Um, but March of Italy Warts doesn't hit Planeswalkers, and I don't think there's any Planeswalker that I'm really worried about, other than maybe like Karn getting like Torpor Orb. Seems really sweet. So I don't know if that's the, you know, something I should be worried about. But if they're playing Karn, they usually don't have a way to protect it. So it seems pretty good to me. And him not playing a threat here turn one was probably the best scenario for me. So I still don't remember if I win or not. I highly doubt it. Based on the length of this video, I think I might. So yeah, do this. Play Nissa. Nissa says whenever a land comes in, create a mana of any color. So like a Lotus Cobra, she's a Lotus Cobra. But on the second landfall trigger, you still get to make the mana, but you also get to look at the top of your deck until you hit either an elf or an elemental. And as you know, almost the majority of the stuff in here is either elf or elementals that I can hit, or at least the targets that I want. So, which is either a Risen Reef or that. And I get the Keen-Eyed Curator. He's wanting to see what that does. I'm like, it's just like my graveyard hate piece. It also becomes a big boy. So there's an endurance. So he accidentally saw the endurance that was on bottom when I went to go back to hand it to him. So here I just cast a Risen Reef. Trigger off the Risen Reef. Looks like we got an Antuco. So if he doesn't kill me here, with me getting the Springheart and Antuco, kind of increases my odds pretty highly now. So because as long as I hit a fetch land, I get to. As long as I hit a fetch land, I get to copy the Risen Reef and kind of go off. And then we're just trying to soak up as much damage as possible. I didn't reset life totals, so I know I've at least taken 2. And he has taken 1 at least. Does he have a fetch? I don't see a fetch, so there's a shock there. So it's 17. So we do the thing. Do the Springheart and Tuco on here, and start going a little crazy. So trigger here, make 2, make a copy. Trigger that. So now I have 3 Risen Reef triggers. Before that happens, I get a Forest. I'm gonna take 1 here. Get another mana. Use the mana, make another copy. So now I have 6 total, if I'm correct. I believe it's 6. So the 1 comes in, has a trigger, sees the other one, that's 2. And then the next one comes in, I have 5. I think I might have said it wrong, but I have 5. So did the Nissa trigger. Now we're doing 5 triggers of this. So that's 1. Make mana, make a 1/1. And like this is the power of the deck. Like this is where like if they tap out, like you can just win, which is kind of like wild. So play land, make another mana. And with me having another Risen Reef and I have 2 Chord of Calling, I think I can just win here, because of the fact that I can use the mana here to get a Titania, and with the mana that I would create from Titania and the 1/1s and the 5/3, like I'm just gonna create a bunch of value here, and so then I get to go get Sylvan Safekeeper and kind of combo off. So I was like, I think I have 1 more, and then I realized I didn't have another insect here. It's crazy like how consistently good this is. It's really cool. I really like the Elesh Norn bring in. So use the mana. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we get the 5 drop. Explain to him it's an elemental. That's going to trigger my 3 Risen Reefs. So now with 3 Risen Reefs and what's her face, like it's just pretty deterministic at this point now, especially now that I have the Elish Norn. I mean, as long as I hit one more search effect and get the Sylvan Safekeeper, I'm gonna win. And this is where I explain where I'm gonna go get Sylvan Safekeeper. I can show him the combo where basically I'm gonna go off until I make enough mana to um, cast what's his name, Craterhoof Behemoth. Which, since I'm splashing white now, I was thinking about the other dude, the flyer. I don't know if that's worth it at all. It's the same amount of mana as Craterhoof Behemoth, but I guess he doesn't get. I guess he doesn't have haste. The flyer doesn't have haste. So the importance is Craterhoof has haste, so you can kill him with it. So, as if you don't know, if you're new to the loop, don't know exactly how it works. So more or less with Sylvan Safekeeper, you can sacrifice a land, give a creature Shroud, so you can target anything. And then every time a land goes to the graveyard because of Titania, you get a 5/3, which triggers the Risen Reefs, and you can just keep going till you put a bunch of lands into play to make enough mana to cast Craterhoof Behemoth, or go search for him in your deck. So more or less you can draw your whole deck because Risen Reef is a reveal trigger, not a draw trigger. So you can even deck yourself. So you even have the possibility of playing what's her face. Like if for some reason if you get into a little bit of a drawed out game and like your Craterhoof gets hit or like Titania gets hit, there's like in that instance, right? There's a way where I could have just kept copying my Risen Reefs and drawed my whole deck and put all my lands into play, and like Titania dies. So I've actually, now that I think about that, you could do Thassa's Oracle in the deck, because you can draw the entire deck without actually drawing it, right? Because you're revealing it, putting lands into play, create a crap ton of mana, and then eventually you could just cast Thassa's Oracle after you go off. So that is cool to know. I actually didn't know that, so I might play one Thassa's Oracle in the sideboard as another way to win the game, because you could just play a bunch of get a bunch of Risen Reef copies there. Like in that specific instance, having the Springheart Nantuko on Risen Reef and the Nissa, I could just make infinite Risen Reefs basically, because as long as like as soon as you got the two, the statistical odds that I would probably at least get 2 lands going, like I would make a mana, and then if I hit another land, I'm making a mana, and then it just like I make boom, I'll make another Risen Reef. 4 Risen Reef triggers will go on the stack, and then it just kind of becomes statistical at that point, right? I'm probably gonna get at least 2 lands every so often to be able to make the 2 mana to keep going. And then depending on what you're playing against, usually your goal is that like I think realistically there's probably a line where you're supposed to keep doing, now that I think about it, you're supposed to keep doing the Risen Reefs, keep creating them and making a bunch of stacks and eventually creating mana so you can go get Sylvan Safekeeper first. Just as a protection piece, I think just in case they have something, you're supposed to get Sylvan Safekeeper going. But he just has an extremely fast start here, so I'm not keeping up with it because I remember I get wrecked. So I take um, that's 1. Does he have another fetch? Looks like maybe just 2, so 3. So he's at 17. I think he has that, so he has 3. Hits me for 4, 5, 6. Oh, he took the 3. So hang on. Whoops. I think I'm at 14. I think it's what the dice say over there. And I already know, like at this point, I'm just dead. I don't really know. Like I have Springheart and Antuco. I mean, he can just like sacrifice a mountain, kill him. So, but he's got the Underworld Breach, which I'm pretty sure just kills me here. So, I think I had a Beseiju, but I don't think playing Beseiju is gonna help me live. Like, I think endurance is probably like the best thing I can get to that really slows them down. So I can just hit their graveyard and block something. Yeah, so he's cast two spells. I'm just enjoying my Chipotle burrito because Chipotle is my life. If anyone knows that meme. And then recast it again. So he's at three spells. So it looks like I've taken. So I took three. I don't understand why he did this after damage. He would have done more damage to me. So he hit me for 3 plus 3 is 6 plus 1 is 7. So I think I'm at 7. I'm pretty sure. But I don't know why. Like, I would have just been casting as many baubles as possible. Like, Underworld Reach is going to go away. Oh, I guess to, like, get rid of Delirium. Maybe that's why he did it afterwards. Because it would get rid of Delirium beforehand. That makes sense. So he got in his damage, and then afterwards went for the Mishra's Baubles. So I don't think I have an endurance in hand. So, and that's kind of the game. I blocked the dude. I'm like, yep, you got it. I don't have anything. It's hard to like just try to like what I mean. I just keep a hand that just has an endurance. Like, yeah, got to build up pieces. It's really fast. That might be another thing, but I think that's what the March of Other Lordly Lights are for this matchup, and it just helps against instantly helps against other matchups as well, right? So like, but it helps against the aggro just to slow them down, so I can get a board state at least, get rid of their threats for me. But this is where we went over sideboard, kind of explained to him more what I thought was good and bad. He brought in the unholy heats and that, and the it was thinking about pyroclasms, and I just took out Elosh Norn because it didn't really do anything against him, and the bounce land for the Beseiju and something else I don't even know, probably just a another like piece like a wall of roots or something that's not really necessary, but yeah, that's a rough matchup. Aggro, got to figure out what I'm going to do about that. Maybe if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments. If you make it here, I'm thinking about maybe putting in an Omnath, just because I only need one red, so I can kind of make that off landfall. So maybe I might throw in one more land, or maybe a surveil, like the green-red surveil land, just so I can cast Omnath in the deck for when it's going a little slow. Um, yeah, just thinking about just because I can do the landfall, gain life, pass turn, gain life, it makes a big difference. So that's a possibility. But if anyone has any thoughts or suggestions, let me know. But yeah, as always, guys, I appreciate you guys watching the content, and I'll see you in the next video. Gingy out. Peace.